What's going on, sports fans? I'm Dom Taylor, this is Cooper Husky and Dylan Morgan, and this is After Further Review, a Tuscaloosa, Alabama-based sports talk show here on YouTube. This is a talk show basically just about all things sports. I mean, we're going to be talking about Alabama sports because we're here, but also we're going to be talking about professional sports, other collegiate sports, and all things in between. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about the new Alabama basketball hire. We're going to be talking about NHL playoffs. We're going to be talking about March Madness. And what was the last thing we're going to be talking about?
We're talking about the MLB opening weekend.
MLB opening weekend, absolutely. So stick around. This is After Further Review.
Alright guys, first topic on hand tonight is going to be the Nate Oates hiring for Alabama men's basketball. Now we know Nate Oates is coming from Buffalo. He's been there for about 4 years now, and he's had a steady increase over the last 4 years. Every year he was there. He made that program pretty much what it is today. They were the number 6 seed in this year's tournament. And how do you guys feel about this hiring so far?
I think it's a great hire. He has really transformed the Buffalo program. If you look at his record over the past 4 years, it's always on the up and up. And I think they won 32 games this past season.
Yeah, they were 32 and
4.
Regular season champs,
conference champs, number 6 seed.
Yeah.
He has really transformed that Buffalo program to like a name you see every year on your bracket. And I hope he can do the same for us.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. He got Buffalo to the, was it 32? Round 32 this year?
Yeah, round of 32. They lost to Texas Tech,
right, okay.
Who's in the Final Four now. So
just beat Gonzaga.
Just beat Gonzaga.
Breaking news.
Absolutely. My only thing, and this is about it, very happy with the hire in terms of just his resume, but what I would have preferred is if we got that coach in the Power 5. Now this is a group of 5 coach, so we're not exactly sure if the translation from group of 5 to Power 5 is going to be there.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes.
Absolutely.
It happens.
But that remains to be seen.
Now, I want to throw some numbers at you guys real quick.
Go ahead.
So, we're going to go over 3 stats from Buffalo, this last year's team, and the Alabama team this year as well. Points per game, Buffalo 84. Alabama 72. So it's a 12-point jump. That's a pretty good jump. Defensive points per game, Buffalo 71, Alabama 72. Now, not as much, but still, there's a little bit, Nate Oates likes that gritty, in-your-face defense, and that's one of the things he wants to stress. And then rebounds. Buffalo 41 per game, Alabama 38. And even with, Buffalo does not get huge guys, and they still win the rebounding category almost night in, night out. How do you guys think this will translate for Alabama going forward?
Well, me personally, I think that there might be a little bit of a disconnect here because I'm not completely sure in what teams Buffalo is playing in their conference that are going to give them a lot of challenges. Yeah. But I know Alabama is going to be playing Kentucky, they're going to be playing LSU, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Auburn, all of these teams. So those numbers might go down. The one number for me, those are all very impressive to me. I'm happy that they're all higher than Alabama's. The one number for me that's going to be really critical is the free throw.
Free throw? That was a struggle for this team this year at Alabama.
That was.
Everyone knows we would go about 40% from the line, game in, game out, and we would lose games pretty much by the margins of how many free throws we
Yeah, you could get 3 wins back if you at least made, 60% of your free throws, or 75. 3 of those losses, those go into the win category if Bama makes those free throws.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And so we do know there was a couple guys that went in the transfer portal before the hiring, and we had Daniel Giddens, John Petty, Kira Lewis, and Dazon Ingram. Now, do you think it's okay if we lose any of those guys? Which guys do you think we could lose? And now John Petty is coming back. Dazon is leaving. He has already said he doesn't want anything else to do. But what do you think happens if we lose a guy like Kira?
I think that is an incredibly tough player to lose.
Yeah.
Me personally, just because of how much promise and upside he has to him. I enjoyed aspects of Dazon's play, but I believe that the way that our offense worked is we just continually cycled out point guards. And we have, this is just my opinion, I'd much rather have Kira out there than Dazon. And I wish him the best of luck, but I just feel that Kira has a lot more upside to his gameplay. And he's somebody that I absolutely want back. As for John Petty, I think he's a very dangerous player in terms of the three-pointer. That'll be a great weapon to have back, absolutely. There's aspects of his game that of course, there are things that need to be up a little bit. Why does he disappear for games at a time? That's one question.
It's tough.
There's a defensive question, there's consistency issues. So I absolutely think that John and Kira are huge to get back. We have John. I'm hoping that Kira can turn his mind. But as for Dazon and Daniel Giddens, I wish them the best of luck. I'd love to still have them on the team, of course, but we just have to. It's sports, man. You just have to be brutal and you have to be honest about it.
It's a business.
It is a business. And Kira was really good last year. He really has that raw talent and is getting a look at Duke when he goes into the transfer portal. He met with Coach K. But my thing is, I want someone who will believe in this system, believe in this team, and believe what Nate Oates is telling them. And if they're not going to believe that, if they're still going to stay in the transfer portal, I wish them the best of luck, but I think they should stay there. What's the Nate Oates quote? It's some players shouldn't come back.
Yeah, he directly said when he was hired, some of the players that are in the portal now, maybe they need to stay.
Maybe they need to stay, yeah.
And I like that.
I like that, yeah. So raw talent will get you far, but you also need that heart, that drive to take you to the places you want to be. We saw it in our NIT game. We should have beaten Norfolk State. It was at home. It was a 1 seed versus a 16 seed. But you could just see it in the players that they did not want to be there.
There's nothing there.
They were just ready for this season to be over. So I feel like I want players with heart to stay. And if they're already thinking about leaving, maybe they don't have enough heart in this team. Let's go get another prospect who does believe in the Crimson Tide.
Yep.
If you're not bought in, you're about as good as a water boy, and even then a water boy is still contributing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Now you brought up the questions of John Petty's defense. Do you think when he comes back this year, because we know Nate Oates likes that defense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He likes in your face, all time, sprinting up and down the floor. Do you think he's going to fit in that system well?
I think so. I can't confidently say that we're going to see a completely 100% turned around John Petty. I think there might be a few freshmen, if the freshmen that we're looking at getting this offseason in terms of recruiting, those might really play more of a factor in the defense there. I would really hope so, but I think this can only help John Petty's defense, I would say.
What do you think?
There will be a transitional period. First couple of non-conference games, it'll look a little sloppy, look a little bad. I think John Petty will learn, but he may see some minutes. He may see his minutes go down a little bit if a freshman knows the system a little bit better on defense.
That's true.
I think he can still get his 3 points in if he can work on that shot, and I think Nate Oates will appreciate that.
For sure. Now, we're going to transition to the guys who are still playing right now.
That's right.
Going to some March Madness. Sweet 16 just finished up. Elite 8 just started tonight. Like we said, Gonzaga moving, actually getting eliminated by Texas Tech tonight.
Texas Tech, guns up.
Yep, and so from the Sweet 16, we had Texas Tech upset Michigan, UVA beat Oregon, Michigan State over LSU, Auburn upsetting UNC, that was the first 1 seed to go down in the tournament.
Ruined my bracket.
Ruined mine as well.
Yeah.
You would see the final.
Yeah.
Yep.
Duke escaped another one from Virginia Tech.
And Zion Williamson throwing down a huge jump.
And it was
who else is going to save Duke when they're about to lose?
And it was reminiscent. I don't know if you guys know the Grant Hill dunk.
Yes.
Back in the day.
1991.
1991.
They're replaying that dunk during the game.
It was weird, the similarities, and Grant Hill was calling that game. It was really weird. And then the final one, Kentucky beating Houston. Houston was kind of the underdog, but they had a really good season.
They were your dark horse.
Yeah, everyone thought they might get there.
I did. I thought they might get there.
Yeah, but they ended up getting eliminated. Now I want to ask you guys, which game surprised you the most? Maybe not by the outcome, because maybe it was a team that won, but maybe just by the performances that happened last night.
Well, I gotta be honest, I'll give you two. I'll give you two. Because these are kind of, I just can't decide between the two. Auburn and North Carolina. I thoroughly believed, and when I watched North Carolina play this season, I thought this the entire time. I thoroughly thought that they were the best team in the country. Over Duke, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, sure, they won
yes,
the 2 games against Duke.
But it wasn't just they won the 2 games, they convincingly...
They did.
And they murdered Duke one of the games.
For sure.
No, Zion wasn't there.
Zion wasn't
He wasn't
in both of them.
He wasn't in both of them.
But even then,
Even one point, Zion was
in the third game,
they almost lost. They were down by, what was it, 14, 13
at one point. It was.
So I thoroughly thought that North Carolina was the best team, and to see Auburn go ahead and boat race them, I was very, very surprised at that.
And it's
I knew Auburn was
crazy.
good.
It's crazy because Auburn plays so fast.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just sit there and think, do these guys get tired?
Right.
They're sprinting every second,
almost 40 minutes. Just full
and you would
ahead.
think with these games only being a day in between each other that they would get tired, but night in, night out, they're jacking up threes and they're knocking them down consistently. Mm-hmm. Now, they did lose Okiki. He tore his ACL. That came out today, that it was confirmed he tore his ACL, who had 20 points and I think 13 rebounds in that game last night, which is a big deal because the margin wasn't that big. So, like we said, what do you think was the surprise for you?
The surprise for me was Texas Tech beating Michigan. I had Michigan going to the Final Four, and Texas Tech, I think the score was 63-44, just manhandled Michigan. Michigan usually is averaging about 60, 70 points a game, and to be held in the low 40s, that was a surprise to me. And now they're moving on to the Final Four, so since they beat my Final Four team, I'm all gung-ho, Texas Tech, guns up. Let's go Red Raiders.
That was also my other team.
Yeah,
that was the...
I will say, I was very surprised by that UNC game. And everyone, I'm going to disclose right now, I'm a Duke fan. I was raised a Duke fan, been like that since I was a little kid, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Duke or anything. UCF game, you have a 7'6" guy standing in the paint.
Dwarfed Zion.
And he doesn't do anything else. He just stands in the paint and is like, come get it. Like, does nothing else. And then you had a dark horse in Andre Dawkins, who put up 32 points. His career high before that was like 18. That's a dude just playing out of his mind. So them getting away with that one, that was a scare, obviously. But last night, they did not have Cam Reddish. And even though people want to say, oh, it's not just about one guy doesn't make the game, but he's a deadly outside shooter. He stretches the floor every time he comes out there. It makes it even easier for guys like RJ and Zion to get in the paint and do what they got to do. And I think it affected the game. Obviously glad Duke got away with one again. But I don't think everyone needs to make it such a big deal as what it is. Because I feel like because we've seen when that team's at full strength, there's no one stopping.
They're unstoppable.
No one stopping.
But getaway is a key term. Virginia Tech had 2 chances to win that game.
They did.
That first play, that kind of got busted, but then the second play, the layup, was so close. He just didn't put enough arm.
That was controversial, though, because right before that, the guy who grabbed the inbounding ball, his foot was on the line out of bounds.
Was it?
It was. And, people were saying, oh, you can look at the shot clock time, but you can't look at a guy standing out of bounds. And a lot of people got mad because a lot of people should have said that Virginia Tech should have never got that opportunity in the first place. If that guy's standing out of bounds, Duke gets the ball, probably throw it in, have to shoot some layups or shoot some free throws, and the game's over. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see what happens moving on. Because Duke has to play, I believe, Michigan State.
Yes.
And that's going to be another tough one. Michigan State's got a lot of firepower. Now, I want to ask you guys, just go ahead and say it. Who do you think's going to win it all?
I still got Duke.
You still got Duke?
As long as Zion Williamson
is on the floor, yeah.
I don't think that they can lose. Yeah, it's one of those It's one of those things. He's just one of those players who just comes along every 10, 20 years,
Yeah.
and there's nothing that you can do
Yeah.
that's gonna.
No, it's great. You can see it every time he's on the floor.
You can.
Everyone's scared. I'd be scared too.
He's
Oh,
the
yeah,
best.
definitely.
6'9", 285 that can run a 340.
You might have a better chance of keeping Duke from scoring if you have, I mean, if you have all 5 of your players on Zion with the 4 on the outside,
Yes.
than if you had like 5 Duke players and only 3 guarding. I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
What do you got?
At risk of sounding like a mockingbird, Duke. Like this, Duke is just that complete package of, you got Cam Reddish, Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett.
Yep.
It's once in a lifetime team.
It's one of the few times we've ever seen 3 guys playing on the same team that are all looking to be top 5 draft picks.
Yeah.
That's just insane. And I know a lot of people get caught up with the hype, like, he's gonna be a draft pick, but he's gonna be a bust. But it's just so much talent out there. That,
wasn't that one time Zion 1, RJ 2? Wasn't that one time?
Yeah.
Two Duke players.
now John Morant has taken that 2 spot kind of. That's kind of going back and forth, depending on who you're talking to.
Now, if I may, real quick, just to add something here, just a quick question, a quick side tangent. We take Duke completely out of it.
Alright.
We take Duke completely out of it.
Totally out.
Who's your dark horse?
Dark horse?
Or let's say we keep Duke in it, but they lose at some point.
They lose. So they
Who
lose to
wins?
Michigan State.
Who wins instead?
Texas Tech.
Texas
You think
Tech.
so?
Guns
You
up.
think they're
Texas
riding the
Tech.
wave?
I think they're riding the wave. I think that win over Gonzaga is going to boost their spirits.
Wow.
They got that Italian kid. His parents flew in for that game. I see Texas Tech being your NCAA championship.
I saw inconsistency during the regular season, and that's just something that that's one of the reasons why I thought that Michigan was going to win, because I thought they were an all-around better team.
I feel like it's going to be one of those blue blood programs. One of those programs that is there every year, knocking on the door, and that's got to be a team like Kentucky, a team like UVA, even though I can't stand UVA. I hate how they play. It's too fundamental. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy. It's annoying sometimes. And then Michigan State, because I think if Michigan State could beat Duke, they could beat anybody. You imagine the amount of confidence you have after just beating Duke with all that talent we just talked about? You could beat anybody.
It's true. It's true.
Sometimes the emotional wave is more than how athletic you are.
Yeah.
It's also dangerous, though.
It is dangerous.
Also dangerous.
You can get uncontrolled sometimes.
Yes, you can also be extremely tired and, in a sense, hungover from that.
Yes, it can be.
You might have exerted all you have.
And arrogant too.
Yeah.
Take little shots that you shouldn't and normally don't.
A little punch drunk,
Yeah.
Now let's move on, especially for you, Cooper.
Yes. It's NHL playoffs.
Our in-house hockey expert right here. We are going to talk about the NHL playoff race.
I am so ready.
Now, we're going to go over, if the playoffs started today,
Okay.
who would be where? So in the East, we got...
Mind if I say it? The Tampa Bay Lightning! My team! Let's go! You weren't bringing out sounding like favoritism with Duke. I am so okay with it. Go Bulls, my guy. Number 1, President's Trophy for the first time in their franchise history. I cannot wait to see the Lightning.
You have your Lightning.
I'm sorry.
Against Columbus.
As you can tell, he's a Capitals fan.
Oh, yes. Actually, he's actually a Boston fan.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. Then we got Boston, Toronto.
Toronto.
Washington, Carolina. Now, mind you, Washington defending champs.
Defending champs, yes.
Islanders, Penguins, and that's in the East.
Yes.
Now, take your bias.
Take my bias out. Yeah.
Take your bias out. Who do you got winning the East?
Who I got one of these? Bias totally out. Forget those last 45 seconds. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like how we were talking about Duke, this team is just so strong this year. They are firing on so many angles. You got a Vezina Trophy winner in Andre Vasilevsky in that. You got a Norris contender, Victor Hedman. You've got someone going for the Hart Trophy and Steven Stamkos or Nikita Kucherov. Like this team is just stacked to the brim right now, all under cap, and it's It's incredible watching these
And you guys set the record for the points this year, right?
Yes, set the record for the points.
You are at 122 right now?
122 right now.
122.
We'll see how we do against Washington tonight.
Yeah. So
we have 3 players over 100 points on the season. Hasn't been done in 6 or 7 years or something like that. This is a scary team. It is a very impressive team.
It's impressive.
Bias completely out.
now in the West.
In the West,
yeah. You got Calgary, Colorado, San Jose, Vegas, Dallas, Winnipeg, St. Louis, Nashville. Now the West is always a bit dicey.
The West is.
Because usually in the East you have your one team that you think, oh, okay,
You have your
they're going to go all the way.
powerhouses.
Now in the West, this is kind of a hard one. Who do you got winning the West?
Who do I have winning in the West? This is a hard one. I'm going to go Winnipeg. I see the
Winnipeg?
Jets going on a run this year, taking off, winning the West. They got so close. They lost to Vegas last year, which I was not a big fan of Vegas going that far, but that's a whole different conversation. But I see Winnipeg making it to the Cup this year.
Okay, and then
Bolts, Winnipeg.
what?
Tampa Bay.
Let's take a step back.
Let's take a step back.
Say Tampa Bay doesn't go.
Okay, let's say
Heaven forbid.
let's say Washington goes again.
Okay.
I feel
So you
like
got-
they're the next best team.
Okay, so you got Washington, Winnipeg. Who you got?
I see Washington again. I
See Washington. You can't hate on Ovi.
You can't hate on Ovi. Holtby is a beast. In my opinion, the East is just inherently better than the West.
Yeah.
They have more stars right now than the
It
West.
is pretty stacked.
It's
right
pretty stacked. You have 3 of the top 5 teams in the East with Tampa, Boston, and Toronto. Of course, they're going to be beating up on each other all throughout the early rounds of the playoffs,
Yeah.
which kind of gives Washington an easy
Yeah.
way to that Stanley Cup final. But I see Washington, if not Tampa Bay, going back to back. The matchup I'm most interested to see was something we saw last year, Boston-Toronto. That is going to be a
Boston-Toronto?
fun first series.
See, I will say, now I can't remember how the bracket is looking right now.
Yeah.
But if we can see another Washington-Pittsburgh series,
Yes.
those are always
Those are
very
always a fun
exciting.
Very,
A lot
very
of fights,
snappy.
lots-
Yeah. Those 2 teams hate each other.
As soon as the puck drops, it's like, all right, gloves off. Let's
Gloves
go.
off. Let's go. Let's fight.
And it's something about people from Pittsburgh.
I hear that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh.
Sidney Crosby.
Now, let's shift it back over.
I'll call
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's okay.
It's all right. Yes.
Let's shift it over to the Diamond.
Let's do it.
Finally. Also, shout out to some Diamonds we have going on here. Softball, 35-1.
Yes.
Dang.
Alabama softball is 35-1.
That
It
is
is amazing. Bailey Hemphill has, I think, 16 home runs and like 55 RBIs, leading the nation of RBIs. Montana Fouts has like 14 wins. She's a freshman.
Dang.
Amazing. And then, on the other side, we got Alabama baseball. Not too shabby this year.
Not at all. Not at all.
Coach Bohannon has really turned that program around. I mean, I know he inherited, for lack of a better term, a lump of garbage.
Yes. And playing in one of the toughest conferences.
Yeah, because you're
in
talking
men's
about, we
baseball.
got to go against teams like LSU,
Yeah.
Arkansas, Ole Miss.
We set a record this year
Yeah.
for most teams from a conference in the top 25. Well,
It was
I guess
11
the SEC record.
It was 11 SEC
11
teams in the top 20.
Not including Alabama, who has it's somewhere in the high teens or 20s in the wins column,
Yes.
and very few losses. And they're not even ranked yet. That's an incredible
I
amount.
think we're 18-5
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Not too bad.
Which for a program that is on the up and up,
Yes.
that's what you want to see.
That is.
Because last year we were losing to teams that we should not lose to, aka teams like Maine. You know, those kind of buffer games that
Yeah.
we put in between the hard series. We were losing those, but now we're winning them in good fashion. Beat Arkansas 10-0 at one point.
That's good.
We ended up, losing the series, obviously, 2-1
A
games.
win's a win.
But
you gotta look at the
We
wins.
gotta take them where we can.
Yes.
Now, let's go level up a little bit, or technically it's like 4 levels up. Farm team,
Yeah.
double A, triple A.
Yeah.
Let's talk about opening weekend in baseball.
Let's do it.
Now, it's always a fun time of year. We saw it, everyone walking around campus, acting like they were baseball fans. I don't think half of them are actually baseball fans.
It was cool to see all the T-shirts.
It was cool.
It was.
I wore my Sandlot T-shirt. I had a good time.
Wore my Rays T-shirt.
It was great. But I really want to talk about the three big guys that signed crazy contracts. Which I'm telling you, if I had that much money, I'd not be here right now.
Oh, no.
I'd be on a yacht somewhere, and yeah,
I'd fly your professors into your yacht.
Oh, for sure.
And then,
Yeah.
fly them back out.
So, and we're going to talk about Boston. Defending champs, see how they're starting off the season. And so...
Red Sox.
So,
Interesting start.
First on the list, Bryce Harper's debut in Philly.
They love him there.
I feel like whoever the city of Philadelphia gets, they just love whoever it is.
It's the city of brotherly love.
It's the city of brotherly love. Phillies beat the Braves 10-4, but Harper 0 for 3, a walk, and 2 Ks. Not that great of a showing. Philly actually didn't even sell out the stadium.
Really?
Which you would think, and it wasn't even just Harper's debut. It was Andrew McCutcheon's debut. It was a lot of guys that were brand new to the system and did not sell out. They got the win, but everyone, of course, is Harper really worth the $330 million?
Right, of course.
I mean, I feel like it's very hasty to put it on one game.
Yeah.
Especially your first game. I feel like you have jitters a little bit. A new city, new field, new team. That's tough. So, and then Manny Machado, he signed the $290, $300 million contract. Padres beat the Giants 2-0. But once again, Machado 0 for 3. Not even a walk. Just 0 for 3. People are saying a lot of things about that as well. And then the big fish, no pun intended.
Yes.
Mike Trout, who signed the 12-year, $430 million contract. 12 years. Now, I'm pretty sure.
Wow. Cannot believe it.
Pretty sure Mike Trout is 27 years old.
Yeah, so he's gonna be there until he's 39.
39. And he's going to be making, and it's all guaranteed.
All guaranteed.
All guaranteed. If he got shot in the leg right now and couldn't play baseball, they had to give him the money. The Angels actually lost to the A's. I will say the A's picked up a win without Kyler Murray. I think that's a step in the right direction.
That's a wholesome area.
Yeah. But Trout did go 1 for 3, single, and a walk. Now, like I said, it's hasty to judge. But do you guys think these guys are going to live up to these fat contracts?
Here's what I gotta say. I don't think that's the question here. I think the question is we need to put a cap on the MLB. These guys should not be making that much money. All right,
To play fat man sport?
well, just to play baseball. They're playing a game, but like they should be making $433 million for 12 years. That's too much, and you're not going to live up to the hype of $433 million, no matter who you are.
But then with that argument, though, goes back to, look at international soccer players.
Yeah.
Those guys. I think Messi makes $80 million a year. Now, that exceeds all of these guys by a lot.
It does. It's also a sport that is on a worldwide scale ridiculously more
yes,
popular.
Of course.
But not to hijack your point there, I side with Coop on this.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
I think for the precedent that is currently set, Mike Trout will live up to that.
Yeah.
But I do not think that he should be paid that much for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I think, I'm also kind of with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, because I'm kind of scared to see what happens in 5-6 years when we got a guy signing for $500 million.
Exactly.
That's half a billion, people. Everyone watching. $500 million.
And it's just
crazy.
It is crazy. And then if you put a cap on, you're not getting questions like, did they get paid too much? Are they worth it? If you have a cap, it's just, is it a good sign?
Well, I feel like you still get those questions.
You still get those questions.
You look at football.
Yeah.
You see these guys getting some big contracts and then not having good outings. And then, now granted, football, a lot more difficult.
Different Than
baseball.
Yeah.
I think the general public would say CTE outranks, living till you're 95.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Fair assumption.
Yeah.
couple different variables in that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think we need to calm down. Baseball has become the wild, wild west when it comes to paying players. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now let's move on to Boston, defending champs. We know they beat the Dodgers in the World Series this past year.
Yes, they did.
But to start the year, Boston lost to Seattle 12-4. Now, granted, they came back in the second game.
They did.
They won 7-6.
Yes.
Got a little bounce back to 500. Now, let's ask the question: is the Drake curse going to be a real thing?
The Drake curse is going to be a real thing.
Think so?
Every program he touches gets destroyed.
Now, for everyone's reference,
Yes.
Drake met with JD Martinez over this past December, I think.
Yeah, this past off season.
They had, they chopped it up, had a good time.
Took a nice picture.
Yeah. And legend has it that every time Drake cheers for a team, they lose the big game.
I mean,
We saw it in the national championship.
the biggest example right now, the NFL playoffs. When he wore a shirt with all 4 logos, it says, "I'm breaking the curse." Both games went to overtime, which is essentially both teams losing, or all 4 teams losing in regulation. The Drake curse is real.
I'd just like to thank Drake for making my mom's first Alabama football game the worst loss that we've had in years. So thank you so much.
Under Nick Saban.
Under Nick Saban.
Under Nick Saban, it was
Yes,
the
thank you
worst.
so much for
Yes.
that, for making a national championship experience a nightmare. So thank you so much for that.
I think it's a fun narrative, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun
It's a
narrative.
cool
It's a fun
thing.
narrative.
What teams are you gonna rap?
Right.
You look at the other examples. He touched Kentucky in 2012.
Yep.
Hasn't won a title since then. He's been with the Toronto Raptors.
All I need him
Haven't
to
been
do
good.
is these 2 things:
Yes.
put on a Clemson jersey
Yes.
and a Hunter Renfrow jersey.
Yes. Drake.
Drake,
If by
what's the
some
Does it work for
magical
people? Does it work for
way.
people?
I think it works
I
for
think
both.
Okay, well then.
It has to.
All right.
If by some magic way, Drake, you are watching this, could you please put on a Clemson jersey or t-shirt or anything orange with that white paw print?
Because
That would be great.
that would help.
Sincerely, every student at UA.
All 40,000
Yes.
of us are pleading that you please do that.
Yes.
But don't touch Dabo, because he might be our future coach. So
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
Don't
Stay away from Davos
Dabo's
Wing.
good. Yeah, take all the recruits, but
Yeah.
just
Hunter
leave Dabo.
Renfrow, Clemson.
Once again, Hunter Renfrow, who went to Clemson for like 8 years and is not pre-med. All right, guys, that is going to be the end of our show this week. Be sure to like and subscribe this video.
Please.
Of
Yes.
course,
Comment below.
Comment below. Tell us any suggestions. To ask us about stuff. Ask us to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
We're here for y'all. Let's make this a great season. And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Be
much.
back next week. All right.